Yeah, welcome back. Very good morning. So, hope you have gone through the earlier class where we have entered into the concept of refraction of light. Yes, when a light ray is traveling from one medium to another medium, due to the change in the speed of light, it is going to take a deviation at the interface of the two media, on bending either towards the normal or away from the normal. This property of light was introduced as refraction of light. At the same time, we have discussed about refractive index of a material medium, which is measured as the ratio of speed of light in air or vacuum to the speed of light in the given medium. Apart from that, you have learnt about relative refractive index, comparing the refractive index of one material medium with respect to another material medium. So these are all the concepts that we have introduced in the earlier class. Now we are going to discuss about the different visual phenomena in the nature due to refraction of light. But just before entering into that, little more the basic information you should learn about refraction. Little more. Then we enter into the different visual phenomena due to refraction of light. So, just before entering into that concept, what we have learned in the earlier class, here it is, AB is supposed as the interface of the two different media 1 and 2. Of course, let us suppose 1 is a rarer medium and 2 is a denser medium. Now here there is a light ray that is striking the interface at this point, which is point of incidence. Here is normal at the point of incidence. Now here is angle of incidence. Of course this is incident light ray. Now here, as it is traveling from rarer medium to denser medium, it will bend towards the normal. Here, angle of deviation. Here is angle of refraction. Of course, this is refracted light ray. If you are going to consider this PO is the incident light ray, OQ is a refracted light ray. Now, in this situation, while dealing with refraction, we come across the concept of laws of refraction. So what are the laws of refraction? There is nothing new. Whatever we have learned the basics, we are going to conclude. When a light ray is traveling from one medium to another medium, it bends at the interface, either towards the normal or away from the normal. This is the first law, which explains about its definition basically. And while coming to second law of refraction, here you can see, here it is the normal at the point of incidence, here it is. Now you can see, here the incident light ray and the refracted light ray are on either sides of the normal. Have you seen? Here, this is the normal, here is the incident light ray and the other side refracted light ray. So we can say the incident light ray and the refracted light ray will be on either sides of the normal. And the other point it is, all the three means incident light ray, normal and the refracted light ray all lie in the same plane. As they are all in the same plane, we can show them in the plane of the board, or else I can't show all the three like incident light ray, normal at the point of incidence and refracted light ray. I can't show in the board if they are not in the same plane. They are in the same plane, they will be in the same plane. So while dealing with the laws of refraction, the first one is, when a light ray is traveling from one medium to another medium, at the interface it bends either towards the normal or away from the normal. Of course you know, if it is traveling from rarer to denser, it bends towards the normal. If it is going from denser to rarer, it bends away from the normal. And then next, the incident light ray and refracted light ray will be on either sides of the normal. And the third one is, all the three will be in the same plane. So these points will be treated as laws of refraction. After dealing with the laws of refraction, here there is another important statement that is given by Snell, which was familiar as Snell's law in concept of refraction. Very important concept to go for numerical applications, which is Snell's law. What is Snell's law? Here, when a light ray is refracting at the interface of the two media, then the product of refractive index of a medium and the sine of the angle of incidence in that medium is always constant. Here is the statement of Snell's law. I repeat, N is product of N is refractive index of the medium, theta is angle of incidence in that medium, then the product of refractive index of a medium and the sine of the angle of incidence in that medium is always constant. For example, you look at this. A light ray is refracting at the interface AB while traveling from rarer medium to denser medium. Now here, I is the angle of incidence, R is the angle of refraction. Let us suppose N1 is the refractive index of rarer medium, N2 is the refractive index of denser medium. Usually what you feel, I is the angle of incidence, R is the angle of refraction. But I do say here, I is the angle of incidence in the first medium and R is the angle of incidence in the second medium. Very interesting point. What you have learned and even what you feel, I is the angle of incidence in first medium, R is the angle of incidence in angle of refraction in second medium. But I do say R is the angle of incidence in second medium. To understand that, you should have an idea of principle of reversibility that you learned in the earlier class. Yes, R is not only angle of refraction in second medium, it is also angle of incidence in second medium. Because here look at this. Here, if your light ray falls at an angle I in the first medium, you know it refracts at an angle R into the second medium. This is 1 and this is 2. For example, here your light ray falls at an angle R in second medium, then it refracts into first medium at an angle I. Which is principle of reversibility. Means if you are going to interchange the path of light, then the light is going to reverse its path. Here the light falls in first medium at an angle I and refracts into second medium at an angle R. But if the light is going to incident in second medium at an angle R, then refracts at an angle I. So when I is the angle of incidence in first medium and R is the angle of refraction in second medium, you can say I is the angle of incidence in medium 1, R is the angle of incidence in medium 2. Then according to Snell's law, the product of refractive index of a particular medium and the sine of the angle of incidence in that medium is always a constant when a light is refracting at an interface. So if you are going to apply the concept of Snell's law here, what you can write? You see, according to Snell's law, you look at this, my light is refracting at the interface AB and I is the angle of incidence in first medium, R is the angle of incidence in second medium. Then in first medium the product is N1 into sin I. Because the first medium refractive index N1 and sine of the angle of incidence means sin I. In the second medium, it is the product N2 into sin R. And according to Snell's law, this product is always constant. So N1 into sin I equal to N2 into sin R according to Snell's law concept. Sir, no sir, there is no one interface, there are two interfaces. Once look at this. Here AB is an interface, hope you are following. But here there is another interface which is CD. Now here your light ray falls in the first medium and refracting into second medium. Angle of incidence here, angle of refraction. Of course, I told you first one is rarer, second one is a denser. Now here is point of incidence again. Because in this particular example, your light is refracting twice, once at AB and next at CD. Here, R will be angle of incidence again. Because these two normals are parallel, then these are here. These two are alternate angles. Now for example, when compared to second medium, if third medium, because light is entering from second medium to third medium, if third medium is rarer compared to second medium, then it bends away from the normal. You can say this is some angle of emergence. So in this example, your light is refracting only once at the interface AB. But here, in this example, your light is finding two interfaces while traveling from first medium to second medium, refracts at AB, and while traveling from second medium to third medium, refracts at CD. Now here, I is angle of incidence in medium 1, R is angle of incidence in medium 2. Have you understood? So that is the reason why R is not only angle of refraction, R is also angle of incidence in second medium. Then in third medium, angle of incidence will be E, which is angle of emergence. At what angle your light emerges out into third medium. Now if you are going to apply Snell's law, if you wish to apply Snell's law, you can apply at two interfaces, once at AB, next at CD. If you apply Snell's law at AB, N1 into sin I equal to N2 into sin R at AB. At AB, if you apply Snell's law. Now you can write Snell's law at CD. At CD you can write Snell's law. What is that? Because at CD light traveling from second medium to third medium. Then it is N2 into sin R, because refractive index of second medium and sine of the angle of incidence in second medium. Here refractive index of third medium and sine of the angle of incidence in third medium. So that N2 into sin R equal to N3 into sin R. So Snell's law can be applied at any interface once refraction is taking place. What is Snell's law? The product of refractive index of a medium and sine of the angle of incidence in that medium is always a constant. I repeat, when a light is refracting at an interface, the product of refractive index of a medium and sine of the angle of incidence in that medium is always constant at any interface. Here light refracting at AB, but here light refracting at AB and CD. So I will apply Snell's law. I come across two different equations, once at AB, next at CD. But here there is a little more point. From this I can write sin I by sin R equal to N1 by N2. Means when the light is refracting at AB while traveling from one medium to another medium, you can have alternate equation sin I by sin R equal to N1 by N2. In the given particular case, N1 N2 remains constant. Refractive index of the first medium and second medium remains constant in the given particular case. I mean, if the angle of incidence increased from 30 to 40, then angle of refraction changes, but still N1 N2 remains same. The angle of incidence may be changed to 60 degrees, then angle of refraction has to change, but N1 N2 remains the same in this particular case. So that in that ratio, N1 by N2 is always constant, so that I can say sin I by sin R is always constant. That's why in few of the textbooks, Snell's law will be explained as sin I by sin R is always constant. But that's a derived form, but not the pure form of Snell's law. So how to learn Snell's law for the numerical application part is the product of refractive index of a particular medium and the sine of the angle of incidence in that medium is always constant when light is refracting at an interface. Of course, the derived form can be sin I by sin R equal to N1 by N2, which is constant. Means sin I by sin R is always constant. Means a little more conclusion. Sin I will be proportional to sin R, so that I proportional to R. Means if the angle of incidence in one medium increases, the angle of incidence in the other medium also increases. I mean angle of refraction. Don't forget that. R is not only angle of refraction, R is the angle of incidence in that medium, you can say. So if angle of incidence increases from 30 to 60, then angle of refraction also increases. If angle of incidence decreases, then angle of refraction also decreases. To keep sin I by sin R is always constant according to Snell's law. So this is all the concept of refraction of light and the laws of refraction and Snell's law concept. So what I have concluded on the board here, when the light is refracting at an interface, few points we can conclude, those points are known as laws of refraction. One is explaining about bending of light at the interface, and the other it is incident light ray and refracted light ray will be on either sides of normal. Later the other it is all will be in the same plane. Just briefly I have written here, all will be in the same plane. These three conclusions were introduced as the laws of refraction apart from the Snell's law concept. Of course, when it comes to your textbook, there is a small activity even to prove the concept of Snell's law. I mean to prove sin I by sin R is equal to constant. At the same time, sin I by sin R equal to n1 by n2. It means refractive index of the first medium with respect to second medium. Relative refractive index. Relative refractive index. Don't forget that. So sin I by sin R will give the ratio of n1 by n2 in this particular case. Of course, n1 by n2 can be termed as relative refractive index of the first medium with respect to second medium. For example, here rarer medium air, denser medium glass, for example. Then n1 by n2 means refractive index of air to the refractive index of glass, which is sin I by sin R. If you reverse refractive index of glass to the refractive index of air. So in that way, Snell's law finds many more applications. Of course, in your textbook, there is a small activity to prove that sin I by sin R is always constant. When a light is refracting at an interface and falling at an angle of incidence I and refracting into another medium at an angle of refraction R, then sin I by sin R is always constant according to the concept of Snell's law. Let's look at this. To prove this, there is an activity and I am going to attach a small video presentation to explain that. So this is a little more basics regarding the concept of refraction. Just before entering into the different visual phenomena due to refraction of light, let us see a small activity to prove the Snell's law experimentally.
You have to arrange the glass slabs, which is a semicircular glass slab, on the paper as shown in the figure. Earlier to that, you need to take the measures of angles using a protractor on the paper as shown in the figure. Now you can see a spotlight is allowed to travel through the glass slab, which falls at an angle 90 degrees to the semicircular glass slab. Means the light falls on the surface of the glass slab perpendicular to the interface. Later slowly the angle of incidence on the glass slab is increasing. So you can see the direction of the spotlight which is coming out of the glass slab, which measures the angle of refraction on the other side. You can see in the figure, as long as the angle of incidence I am increasing gradually, the angle of refraction also gets increased. So you can look at these things which are going to take place in the activity. You try to observe carefully. The angle of incidence is gradually increasing using a spotlight. So I am able to identify the angle of refraction at which light is coming out of the glass slab. Slowly we are going to increase the angle of incidence. So you can note down for different values of I, what will be the different values of R. In each and every case, you can adjust the angle of incidence at 10 degrees, 20 degrees, 30 degrees, 40 degrees and so on. In every case, you can note down the values of R on the other side. So slowly we are going to increase the angle of incidence of the light that is falling on the interface of the glass slab. We are doing an activity to prove that sin I by sin r equal to constant, which is Snell's law. So for different values of I, we note down the values of r in every case, and we will try to calculate the value of sin I by sin r in each case, and you can prove that sin I by sin r is almost constant in all the different cases. Of course, you can see a special case in the activity in the last few seconds. Whenever incident light ray is grazing the interface, means the angle of incidence will be 90 degrees. The incident light ray is grazing the interface.
So, after dealing with the concepts of the Snell's law, now we are going to discuss a little more points. Just before going to enter into that, let us take the interface AB, where the light is traveling from one medium to another medium, falls at an angle of incidence I in the first medium, and refracts into the second medium at an angle of refraction R. Then according to Snell's law, you know that N1 into sin I equal to N2 into sin R. This is Snell's law concept. Now here my point it is, I am going to deal with the concept of normal incidence. You know the meaning of normal incidence. A light ray falls perpendicular to the interface is termed as a normal incidence. So what? Whenever the light ray falls perpendicular to the interface, then angle of incidence will be 0. So in the case of normal incidence, I am writing here, in the case of a normal incidence, we will have I equal to 0. So many people may get doubt. So what if I equal to 0? Now you come to this situation. N1 into sin I equal to N2 into sin R, where N1, N2 are non-zero values. When I equal to 0, then sin I equal to 0. So that immediately you will have N2 into sin R equal to 0. Because the left side term I equal to 0, sin I equal to 0. So that left term will be 0. So that N2 into sin R equal to 0. Here N2 is a non-zero value. So sin R equal to 0. Then it gives R equal to 0. It means angle of refraction 0. Means your light goes straight without any deviation. So hope you are expecting my conclusion, what I wish to say now. When the light is traveling from one medium to another medium, if the particular light ray falls perpendicular to the interface, then the light goes into the another medium without any deviation, without any refraction, I mean. So the concept of a normal incidence makes the light to go straight without any refraction. So my conclusion is all about deriving the conditions for no refraction. Conditions for no refraction means under what situations my light goes without any refraction, without any deviation. The first point it is normal incidence. If a light ray falls perpendicular to the interface while traveling from one medium to another medium, then no refraction takes place. Here is the explanation. And at the same time, whenever you are expecting the light goes without any refraction, the second point we come across it is, apart from normal incidence, if you are expecting your light goes straight without any deviation, if you are expecting, look at this diagram, if you are expecting, then angle of incidence should be equal to angle of refraction. Means I equal to R, what you should expect. In the case of normal incidence, light ray goes without any refraction. Okay. But still, apart from normal incidence, if you are expecting your light ray not to refract, then it has to go straight in this way from first medium to second medium. Means angle of incidence should be equal to angle of refraction. Means in the equation of a Snell's law, you put the terms I equal to r sin I equal to sin r, then it gives that n1 equal to n2. So the required condition for no refraction of light, when I not equal to 0, in this particular case I not equal to 0, in this particular case n1 and n2 are non-zero values in this particular case. So we have come across two different points that tells us about the conditions for no refraction of light. One is normal incidence, the other it is the refractive indices of two media are equal. So I am concluding. When the light ray falls perpendicular to the interface, no refraction takes place from one medium to another medium. If the refractive indices of two media are equal, then the light enters into the other medium without any deviation, without any refraction. This is all about conditions for no refraction. So there is a very interesting point actually. When the refractive indices of two media are equal, as the light goes without any deviation or refraction, and moreover there is no change in the speed of light. The speed of light remains same whenever the refractive indices of two media are equal. Means it acts like a homogeneous material medium in which the speed of light remains same. Of course, the material medium in which the speed of light remains same in all the directions, we call it as isotropic medium. Isotropic. The material medium in which the speed of light remains same in any direction, just like air. The light propagates in all the directions at a speed of 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. Isotropic medium. If not, it is anisotropic. AN, isotropic, anisotropic. Here I am writing the word. The material medium in which the light propagates at same speed in all the directions is an isotropic medium. Its opposite word is anisotropic medium. Of course, it's a little additional point, anisotropic. So these are conditions for no refraction of light. So with all this information, what topic we are going to discuss now? What is the next topic that we are going to handle with all this information? We are going to discuss about the different visual phenomena that are occurring in the nature due to refraction of light is our next topic. So what you have learned in this class about a little more basic concepts of refraction and Snell's law equation, an activity to prove Snell's law which is mentioned in our textbook, which can be preferred for public examination point of view, and the conditions for no refraction of. So we have discussed in the earlier class regarding the concepts of refraction, refractive index of a material medium, Snell's law, and the conditions for no refraction. Now in this particular class, we concentrate on the different visual effects due to refraction. There are many more visual effects that we can find due to refraction in the nature. Now I explain everything theoretically at the same time numerically. I treat them as like application 1, application 2, application 3 in that way. So first of all, let us deal the first one as application 1. Along with the theory, I explain even the numerical part of the application. So whenever we are going to discuss this application, the point it is all about apparent position of an image. Means when an object is seen by an observer, he will find an apparent position of its image but not the original position due to refraction of light. So that's the concept we are going to discuss. To explain you in detail, look at this ones. Here is all a beaker of water I have taken. The purpose of drawing figure on the board is to make you to see the way how to practice the diagrammatic representations in optics. So that's the reason why lively I am explaining on drawing the figure. Now here it is. Now in this situation we are going to place an object at the bottom of liquid in the vessel. I have placed a point object, just suppose point object. Now here it is air. Let us suppose my observer is in air medium, somewhere else, my observer. Now here is the object. So the observer who is present in rarer medium like air is going to look at the object which is present in denser medium like water, of course. Can be anything. So the observer is in rarer medium and the object is in denser medium. Now whenever the light rays that are coming from the object entering into air should be received by the observer. So the diagrammatic representation once you see. Here is normal to the interface. Here is one light ray. Here is another light ray I can take. These two are the incident light rays. Now here, this is normal at the point of incidence. This light ray gets deviated away from the normal because the denser to rarer. Here also, this light ray gets deviated away from the normal, denser to rarer. Of course, this is angle of incidence and this is angle of refraction, of course. Now you see, whenever the light rays that are coming from the object are entering into air, due to the refraction phenomena, they bend away from the normal, and moreover, the refracted light rays are diverging. Don't think that only two light rays that are coming from object. Many light rays that are coming from the object refracting at water-air interface. Hope you are understanding. Water-air interface. But to explain the diagrammatic representation more clearly, I have taken very few light rays. Especially when we are going for ray diagram to identify the image location, we take at least 2 or 3 light rays, not many more, for the clear identification of diagram. So here, these refracted light rays at a water-air interface are diverging. They are moving away from each other. You know, whenever an observer is receiving a diverging beam of light rays, then those light rays causes a virtual image. Means, so whenever the observer is going to receive these diverging beam of light rays, they appear to be coming from a point within the liquid, but which is apart from the original position. You can see. So here is the original position of the object, but these diverging beam of light rays causes the observer to find the image at this location. So in this situation, I can tell you, here it is the real distance of the object from the interface. But here it is the apparent distance of the image from the interface. Like in spherical mirrors, all the horizontal distances should be measured from the pole, all the vertical distances should be measured from principal axis you have learnt. Here, all the distances should be measured from interface. So here it is the real distance of object from the interface, but here is apparent distance of image from the interface. Means when an observer in rarer medium is going to look at the object in denser medium, then the observer finds the image shifts close to the interface. Actually the object is at the bottom of the liquid, at more depth in the liquid, but the observer finds the image close to the interface. This apparent position of an image is due to refraction of light while traveling from denser medium to rarer medium. This is the reason why a bird flying in air finds the fish in water close to the interface, so that the bird always tries to hit the surface of the water. because it wished to catch the fish on feeling that it is close to the interface. It is close to the surface. The bird feels, the observer feels, the observer finds the image is close to the interface even it is at more depth. This is all due to refraction of light. So in the same manner, a bird flying in air finds the fish close to the surface of the water, close to the interface. So it tries to catch the fish on hitting the surface. This is all a different visual phenomena due to the refraction of light while coming from denser medium to rarer medium. So in this situation, observer is in rarer medium, object is in denser medium. This is the concept. Of course, a mathematical equation can be derived in between the real distance and apparent distance concept. But whenever you wish to derive a little mathematical equation, but here there are 2 points. One is normal view, another is lateral view or side view, you can say. Means here when the observer is exactly above the surface of the liquid and is going for a normal view, then the observer finds only there is a shift which occurs perpendicular to the interface. Have you seen? This is object, this is image location I have shown you. So here is the shift occurs in the position of object which is exactly perpendicular to the interface I have shown you, which happens when the observer going for a normal view. But if the observer stands aside, then it is called lateral view or side view. This is all about normal view. Now let me give a clear identification of lateral view or side view. Once look at this. The observer stands aside. Once look at this. Here, the observer stands aside and is going to look at the object that is present inside the water. Then here is the virtual image position of the object. Means apart from normal shift, there is lateral shift that occurs. This is what you need to understand. So when the observer has gone for a normal view, he can find only a normal shift. But when the observer has gone for a side view, in addition to the normal shift, there will be even lateral shift. This is all theoretical concept. When an object is in denser medium and observer is in rarer medium, the observer finds a shift in the position of the object and will have the apparent position which is close to the interface. Of course, as per the position of the observer can have a normal shift in the position of object or a normal shift in addition to the lateral shift in the position of the object based on the view what the observer is going to look at the object is very important. This is all the theoretical analysis and a little more application on the visual effects of refraction. Of course, we have a mathematical analysis that derives the relation in between the real distance and the apparent distance concept. We discuss weight. This is one point. Now we discuss one more application where the object is in rarer medium and observer is in denser medium. This is the case where observer is in rarer medium, object is in denser medium. Now the object is in rarer medium and observer in denser medium, then what will be the visual phenomena due to refraction? We will see. Now here is, the object is in rarer medium, but observer is in denser medium, which is quite opposite to the earlier case. The object is placed in denser medium and the observer is in denser medium. Object is in rarer medium. So the concept is, an observer in denser medium is going to look at the object in rarer medium. Then you can see whatever the incident light rays bending towards the normal at the interface, but these refracted light rays appears to be coming from some another point, which causes virtual image position. Now here it is all about real distance from the interface. Here is all about apparent distance of image. You can see. Here is the real distance of object from the interface. Here it is apparent distance of the image from the interface. Which is more? Earlier, the real distance is more, apparent distance is less. But here, when the observer in denser medium is going to look at the object in rarer medium, then the observer finds the virtual image away from the interface. Just for example, your friend is inside the water and you are nearby a pond of water. You are just nearby the shore of the particular pond of water. But your friend who is the observer is inside the water. Your friend inside the water is going to look at you where you are outside the water. Hope you are getting. Now when your friend is inside the water is going to look at you, your head, which is away from the interface, will appear a little more away from the interface. So even though you are shorter, your friend inside the water will find you taller. Because if my friend is going to look at my face or head level, which is away from the interface at a height, appears far away from the interface. Because my friend is the observer inside the water and here is I am. You can suppose this is my height. But my friend inside the water will find me of this height. So when the observer inside the water is going to look at you outside the water, even though I am shorter, he can find me taller. This is the wonderful visual phenomena occurring because of refraction of light at the interface while traveling from rarer medium to denser medium. Of course, here is the real distance and here is the apparent distance. I told you a mathematical relation can be drawn out on supposing the normal view. A mathematical relation can be drawn on connecting with the real distance of the object from the interface and the apparent distance of image from the interface, connecting with the related refractive indices. So this is what we are going to discuss in the next class. A mathematical relation connecting the real distance and apparent distances with refractive indices, and a few more visual effects due to refraction that we are going to discuss in the next class. This is all for today's class. So once you go through all these basic information carefully, slowly we enter into little more mathematical analysis connecting with the numerical examples. Fine. Take care. Wish you all the best.